We are live. Trusty ape. I forgot to switch my thing into your ear. Go there. Do that thing. Now we got the right one. All right, and I'll go and check the live streaming quality here while I got you. Uh, yeah. So we are in between calamities. So far so good, and so fucking what? No, it's been really good, I guess. Basically, but last night I was getting a little goofy there. But we did have some good fun playing kick the Jillian. Uh, um, over there on Hillary's channel. And why? What's going on here? What's going on here is I'm not logged into the right profile. That would be helpful. Okay, and then we'll do this, and then we'll do there. Now pin the link. Link is pinned. The church is open, of course. Um, hey, what's up, Todd? Good to see you. The human ape. uh, what was it? Oh yeah. Well, I was when I was talking to the bishop last week over there at the church, and I don't remember quite exactly how it came up, but I mentioned before that I appreciate the like the church generally isn't like into any type of science denial or flat earth or any crazy shit like that, and they actually do believe in evolution. They just think that God started evolution or what have you. um, but then and when he was like, well, yeah, but we didn't evolve from pond scum, and I was like, interesting. Yeah, I don't think anybody actually thinks that as far as I know, but hey, Halsey, good to see you. I was like, I think that was like a creationist narrative that they created. Like, well, if you're talking about like abiogenesis, and then somebody maybe at some point had said, well, yeah, it was probably like similar to like bacterial life in water or something like that, and that got translated to pond scum. But either way, I don't even know why what what made my brain go there or why I'm even telling the story now. But yeah, good to see everybody. Um, and so we'll get back to watching this video possibly, maybe. Could happen. What is up, Noel? Good to see you, Noel.
Hey, how are you? I'm good. I just got done for the day. I'm trying to wind down, and I've been waiting, stalking St. Tommy's live stream since forever, waiting for him to go live. And so I'm like, oh, good, you're live. So
Oh,
here
he's
I
been
am to
scheduled?
chill. Yeah, you know how he reoccurs it like every freaking like 5,000 hours. So
Yeah.
no,
That's funny. Well, you were there when I was talking to JG that night, weren't you? I saw you were in the chat or something.
I believe so. I didn't see the full conversation, but I was there for moments of it.
Okay, yeah. It
When
was a pretty good
Hillary's
one.
came in, right, and was like, "I am. How dare you not let me speak in the side chat?" Yeah,
Yeah, that was a kind of a fun detour. We didn't
that
stick on that
was
too
like
much, but
left field, but well qualified, of course, because I feel the same way because it's like that in Ace. Like, what's the point of having me go on the stream if I can't even interact with side chat? Like, that doesn't make any sense. That's just silly. Well, yeah.
yeah. I never know what's gonna set that guy off. I mean, I don't really like chat in there too much, but somehow like I think I still have a wrench. And like William was in there in the chat one day and just gave the good word for me. And it was like my first time hanging out over there, and Ace just threw me a wrench. And so ever since I'm like, oh no, what do I do with this?
Nice. Yeah, how far did you get within the conversation? Pretty far.
uh, from what we covered already.
Yeah, for JG.
Yeah, I think I'm more than halfway through our part of the conversation, and then I was gonna check out uh, what transpired on Hillary's channel after that too. So let me see. Hopefully, it saved my place here. Let's see.
About it. Just see if I can find it. But where were we?
I'm trying to recall. Yeah, I mean, I think we were at grounding morality. Was kind of where we left off there.
Yeah, that would kind of always be the problem, right? When challenged with what you're bringing to the table with the Christian worldview, because it's claiming to be an objective worldview with an objective argument of all reality, which I know you would disagree with, but the problem becomes, can you dismantle it from an autonomous philosophy?
Yeah, I think the only thing we can do there, I mean, is if we extend morality outwards into the kingdom of the domain of animals and plants, and you know, if we can generalize those principles, it would make sense. But because we can't, because we know that random occurrences do happen, we have to provide a third explanation for those which are outside of the domain of morality, right?
Well, yeah, where are you getting the morality in the lion hunting whoever he wants in the in the jungle, right? Like it's not a moral thing; it's just what the lion does, right?
I think that's kind of
Right.
a fallacious though, because the lions don't just hunt whatever they want. Like lions hunt particular things, like, and lions don't hunt other lions. Right? Like generally, that's not something
Yeah.
that happens in nature. So
Well, that's the weird thing about it. Like, where's his exclusion from big panthers all around the world, right? Like lions,
right,
one thing, but they used to have a bigger freaking like all the way up to London, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like lions had a pretty huge domination, and we set them like only into Africa. So
yeah,
that said something about that, like about us more than lions, I think. And because they had like how are you gonna specify them to a location? It's like ground squirrels, right? You don't find ground squirrels just like in some part. I'm pretty sure like they're pretty native everywhere. Maybe not
yeah.
Australia
Like,
though.
I think squirrels, though, I'm not sure if that's actually like something that we like if we propagated them somehow, or like if they're like one of those species that kind of follows humans around because they can like forage from us.
Right. Symbiotic relationships with our parasitic symbiotic, depending on how it is. Like they forage, but they end up taking like seeds and whatever and planting them. So that's another thing. Like
Right.
the only thing you can make an ethical claim from the animal kingdom, honestly, for me, is by conservation. If any species shows any type of conservation, then perhaps there's a moral ethic for them to that you can call moral or ethic,
Okay. Yeah.
like storage, like storing food, things like that, and
Right.
knowing about conserving and like so like you would like if a predator knows like how we do it if we're over hunting or if there's like an overpopulation to where it needs to be eliminated, things like that. If a kingdom knows about coaling, you get what I'm saying, like conservation of the land and of the other species, then yeah, that I might go into morality, but I don't think any other animal necessarily does everything like that. It's either like one or the other. And when I mean like
No.
storage, I'm
Yeah. I
thinking
think.
like ants and shit for like
Yeah. Yeah.
um yeah.
I mean that works for like any type of foraging animal, but I think like generally speaking, like it like with predators, like if they overhunt right in whatever area they're in and they don't migrate, then they run out of food. So naturally they'd kill themselves off that way, you know.
All right. Which goes back into again the conservation if right if the that self preservation as well in that. Um I think a little bit. So maybe there is, but who's to say? Because
Yeah.
I don't agree with the moral and ethical claim. I think it's just something we fabricated for society.
I mean, and it's necessary for the lion to hunt for it to survive. So, while this seems to violate the non-harm principle, it then extends out to, well, but I have to sustain for myself, and it's the only way that I have to sustain for myself. Then it becomes a moral act or a just act.
It becomes
Hey,
one.
pause.
Yeah.
You think instead of like a just or like that, like because that involves judgment, why not switch it to the term to like necessary act? Like whether good or evil, it's a necessary act rather than a judgmental. You get what I'm saying? Like this way, it strips from the moral claim right underneath that. It's the necessary act in which to get fed, whether that involves
Yeah.
harm and a selection of whatever, right? So maybe
Yeah.
that's
That would probably
yeah.
make more sense that way. Yeah. Like I was trying to get to like for me because earlier we had been talking about the principle of justice, right? And so
Oh,
I
okay.
was trying to like figure out like, well, how like can we like say that an act is just if it is necessary, right? But I didn't word it that way, I guess. So
Well, yeah, as soon as you can reason to this is the means of sustenance and there is no other clear way to sustain oneself, it becomes just.
According to what principle?
That would just be the law of nature.
The law of nature.
Yes.
What do you? Where does science discover this law of nature?
Well, I mean, it's proved by means of like survival of the fittest, things like that. So, I mean, that
That's
does
a
play into it.
philosophy.
No,
That's
I mean, it's a biological fact. Kill
uh,
or be killed.
not
That's a
necessarily. I mean, I mean, I see.
that's actually not what
that's
survival of
so
the fittest means.
cool. Like I like the way it's framed because it really goes like in order for those things to happen, they're not necessarily random. Like they're not arbitrary. In order for you to eat, you need to select something in order to hunt. So there's selection going on into that level. Like, but the thing is, like, we can see it like that. So, am I implementing that there's a type of choice that the line is making to which the slow one or the youngest one, does it make that decision because it's easier, or you know, like, is there a decision, or is it just proximity? And proximity is just always the younger, older, whatever, sick,
Yeah,
injured.
yeah.
And
And I
so
think
if
yeah,
that's
because
like,
the younger one is probably like, generally going to be slower, right? So that's probably the logic there. I'm
yeah,
sure if they could, they'd want to get the biggest game they could catch, but those ones are probably going to be faster and maybe even able to fight back against them, you know?
yeah, right. Which is why I question, like, is there an actual selection of like choice versus options, and then the options just fall into your lap like that, so it necessarily eliminates choice, but the option to avoid that youngin and go for something bigger game is always there. And I wonder if that's ever been documented. Like they're going for a specific kill, a marked target.
Yeah, I think lions are a lot more selective than like other certain other predators too. Like some predators, they're just going to go for the first thing that they can catch, but I think lions take more time when they're hunting and like yeah, really have a formula about it. But it's also like it's just in that thing's nature to do that. So it's like they probably could find other things to survive off of, but they don't know that, right? So it's not in their nature to browse for options like we would.
Right.
And what's up, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights? Good to see you. But certainly for humans, there like had to be a time when we were like that too. Like we didn't probably have all the knowledge of what we could kill and eat, like before tools and stuff like that, before fire. Definitely
Well, and
we'd be a
also
lot more
probably
limited.
more in tune with our senses and shit. Like for real, like they mine could probably smell shit like further down than we can. You're like, oh shit, and then what's this new smell? And then boom, there's
Yeah.
a lion in your tent because you have crackers or some shit. And there you can smell the crackers.
And now you're the snack. Yeah.
Yep. And now you're the snack. That's nice.
You're saying, but it's not a law that's known by science. It would be a philosophy of what they think they're seeing a pattern.
Well, they would have to have some. They would have to have some clear alternative present to them and be able to discern between one
They
or the
do.
other.
They do. They have cases where that doesn't have. Well, I don't know if that's what you're speaking to, but like cases where people don't preserve themselves, suicide, stuff like that. I don't know if that's what you're going. I might have spoke too quickly, but
No,
anyway,
I agree that that's a factor, but I think that comes down the road. Like sustenance has already been provided, and one chooses to not partake in sustenance or to eliminate themselves.
right. But I'm saying,
Which could also just be fasting. Like people do that anyway. Like it's not necessarily that. I don't know. I don't really understand exactly where he was going with that, but I wasn't going to the like suicide, but that's something that's like pretty uniquely human. Like I don't think animals usually suicide out like, just because they're unhappy with their existence. Like that's something just humans
Well,
do.
there is some weird. You could go into some weird debate about that. So, like, if an animal is full of parasites, it might do something to constitute its death, but that's basically it's no longer itself, right? But who's to say
Yeah,
the
like
same
those
thing can't
brain
happen
control
with?
parasites.
Yeah, who's the same thing that can't happen to humans in some form or way? Especially if no one's looking for it. So that's a weird one. Like in things that lead us to self terminate, rather than the fact that we're all just rotting anyway, and decaying each and every fucking year, and we're aware of it, which is even more fucked up. But
I was gonna say I feel like that's the plot of a movie, but I think I'm actually like putting two movies together, and one of those is Body Snatchers, um, because in that one there's like some kind of parasite, but they don't self terminate; they just take control of the human. And then there's that other movie with the where the I don't even remember what it is, but like the people come in contact with this thing, and then they go out and decide to self terminate, like, and they just start doing all kinds of crazy stuff, like to off themselves. Do you remember that movie? What's that movie called?
I don't know. It reminds me of The Thing, but I know it's not The Thing.
Um,
That's such a good movie, the old classic Thing. I love the
I'd have to
doctor.
look it
He's
up.
like the smartest fucking man, but the most dangerous. He's like knows what's up. I just love it. He's like, oh no, man, no, you don't fucking know. Just complete change of character. Anyway, yeah.
It was called The Happening. Yeah. Oh, it's a neurotoxin that they use. Yeah, that's what it is. The Happening.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
Yeah, it was a pretty weird one.
I don't even think I've seen Body Snatchers either, for that matter. So I'd have to go check
Yeah,
both of
Body
those out.
Snatchers, you have two options. There's the original was like I think the 70s or the 80s, and then they remade it in the 90s as well.
Which one would you recommend if you've seen them both?
I kind of like the newer one.
Okay, I'll go with that, and then I'll go back with the '80s one. I like to compare them both.
Yeah, I mean it might just be like um it might just be like childhood nostalgia for me because I was like that was like in my childhood. But yeah, yeah, the original was from 78 and the remake was 93.
to call it a law of nature is a big step. It's not something that would be discoverable by science.
Well, it's intrinsic in the the pattern of what we see. That is what most creatures do. Most creatures try to sustain and propagate themselves. That's just a law of nature.
The law changing?
The law is changing according to whatever sustains that particular creature. Yeah.
You know what? I have to actually, because I'm looking at it now, I have to correct myself. There are actually three versions. There's one from the 50s also. There's 50s, something,
Oh wow,
78. So yeah, there's actually three versions of that movie and a book. So
that's cool.
But how is it a law if it's
Well,
changing?
the law remains the same: sustenance and procreation, right? So that is a fixed law. Now the parameters under which that takes place might change. So, for instance, if some species is out there and they have like one male and 100 females, and none of those females want to procreate with them, well, then that one male may go and violate that principle of non-harm in order to carry out its biological duty, right, to procreate. So, so that
I don't know why I used the word duty there, but imperative would have been, yeah, biological imperative.
may justify an immoral act in order to carry forth with the species.
When
Oh,
you
wait a
think
second
when
though.
that
If it's just an
happens,
emergent law,
are they assessing the surroundings as like what I'm trying to get at is like are they contemplating the numbers of them of their own uh pride and then being like this needs to happen now, like 'cause that happens like when they take over a new pride males, they kill all the younging and then instantly puts the females in the heat. And they're like, oh my god, that's so cool, you killed our young. No, it's like but, and then that gets them in the heat, so so their genetic reproductions can take place. So it's kind of like,
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying, but like the in the description there, um, there's that like they already had the pride, and now they just what need to produce more.
yeah. I don't know if we were still on the lion specifically, but I mean that definitely like it goes differently for different species, right? Like
Right? Yeah.
actually the female lion I think is usually like the head of a pride, right? Like it's kind of a myth, like the Lion King thing. It's actually a female who's usually at the top of the apex in those, I believe. But yeah, like in like a lot of like ape and monkey species, I know that like there are certain situations where if a male becomes too aggressive and he starts bullying them, then the females will all gang up on that guy and they'll end up killing him. I've heard that before.
Yeah, I think so. All right, my wife wants me to go off with her, so
Okay.
I'm gonna, I'm gonna go hang out, I guess. But
All
if
right. Well,
she gets
enjoy your walk.
back, yep. Bye bye.
All right. Sounds good, man. Thanks. Yeah, I feel like that's something I should look up, but I've heard something like that, and I don't remember what species it was in. Anyway, we'll save that for later. Go back to this.
how do you have a stagnant or non-emergent or non-changing morality?
We have two things there. You have the basic moral law, which is being violated in favor of the biological imperative. And
The
as long as we have
basic
the
moral law?
biological imperative, it will override that moral law.
What's the basic moral law? Given
Well, the
in this,
moral law is the principle of non-harm.
but you're saying all things.
He makes me keep repeating it though. Like I've been saying that since the beginning. I'm saying this is the only thing I'm functioning off of. Like, and I think like it's pretty clear to me that like you know most animals aren't going out there just doing violence for the heck of it, right? Like that's like also like a uniquely human thing. But yeah, all right.
In nature already abide by that. In fact, you've located that, or you have a philosophy that that's present.
Well, yeah, I think most things in nature adhere to that law just naturally. It's the path of least resistance.
Right. And I see what you're saying there. So you think that a law was, I mean, have you continued to think about where this came from? The law would have just generated out of what? In
Well,
nature?
I'm not saying that it might. Well, I'm not saying that it might not have been imparted by God, right? That could be the case. Whether we have evidence or that is up in the air, right? We could say that it came from God. We could say that it came from the universe, or just our basic inclinations towards
How do you get causality
cooperation.
from, like,
I could also add in there, and I think maybe I didn't because I was incorporating things like plants and things into that. Sentience would also be a good way to say, oh well, sentience, that generates these principles, um, that take this the principle basically is what you do, right? It's the nature of what every living organism does, right? Um, but uh, but that would also then you could apply it to things without sentience and say, well, in nature, look, like these things aren't doing acts of aggression, although that might not be completely accurate because I think there are certain things pollination, like pollination, cross pollination with plants could be considered kind of like an act of aggression, even though there's no volition there. But there's things happening when they cross pollinate and things like that, or fighting for root space in like a particular patch of soil. But I don't know if we call that aggression, right? Like, and there's no intention behind it. So yeah, I think that's kind of a weird thing there. Oh, hey, good to see you. Hi, Sai. Welcome, welcome.
just the universe itself? Like, how do you get it came from in a
Well,
causal
because
sense?
that's where we all came from.
But
Like
you're
we can only
saying,
infer that at best the universe is God.
when you say we can only infer at best the universe is God, who are you speaking for?
Well, I'm in that sense I'm speaking as a pragmatist, but to say that if we cannot identify a personal, benevolent, intelligent creator, then we would just say, well, yeah, sure. I mean, maybe it's like pantheism or something, and
But
the
when someone,
universe spawned us, and so we are bound by its laws.
but when somebody says that they have located, it's been revealed to them. There's really no argument, even from your position morally, that they can't or shouldn't hold that unless it moves over to an aggression on some level that you think is harmful. You really have no argument against that, right?
Well,
But
yeah, I think they're still fundamentally adhering to the same rules that we all adhere to, but they are just claiming a different source for the for the instantiation of that.
but see, this is one of the examples where source matters, right? Because when you have source, well, depending on what you're claiming source is, there's a difference of like pragmatic poof, we're here, let's do what we can, versus no, there's a beginning point, a midpoint, and then a purpose or an end point to all this. So how you get there is not going to necessarily just work or be cohesive with those things in mind. You got one person with a purpose in mind and the other person like, let's just see where this goes. It's a very different lifestyle, isn't it? Even with the same agreement in place, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's already a purpose though. Like, so
Well,
if the purpose for us in the universal context is just again is sustaining ourselves and reproducing ourselves, that is a
yeah, but
purpose.
you hear what you're saying? It's just all about you.
Well, each individual acts at that level: sustenance, reproduction, right? Like those are the two main things that we've got to do if we're alive. And you don't necessarily have to reproduce, but I think it takes a significant mental effort on the part of most humans to reach that conclusion and actually adhere to it, for their whole lives. Because I think most people eventually want kids at some point in their lives, right? If you think I'm wrong, no. What's up, Will Freeman? Good to see you. Good to see you. Be fruitful and multiply. Yeah, even God said that shit in the Bible, right? He's like, I know you broke all the rules. I got to kick you out of the garden, and you're eventually gonna die. But go out there and have a bunch of kids and just enjoy it. It'll be fine.
No, it's about well, each individual, yes, but
Yeah, but that's
collectively
where
make
it
a
goes.
whole.
Like you said, oh, it's about all of us, but then it really just comes into it's all about you and what you want. And that's what you have here is you have a construct built on pragmatism, what's pragmatic. We're just here, we're queer, let's go. and it's all about really what I want. If I can make it,
I feel like he's thrown that in there like multiple times now, like just trying to see if he could prod me, you know, get the liberal wound up. Like, no, I'm not gonna buy it. I'm not gonna
what
buy
other people
it.
want and influence them and get on the same page, then we can expand that out. But it's all about me, and then hopefully into the larger group. It
But
sounds good.
that's translates into the theological framework because God says, "Go forth, be fruitful, and multiply." He says the same
Holy
thing.
shit, I did. I said it. Oh, I didn't even remember saying that. Good call, Healthy.
Sure. Again, but this is a difference between you just skipping over steps and jumping into that agreement versus the
Hey, Skyworks, good to see you there. Let's see, somebody, Skyworks is here, and oh, he said after your Happy New Year's thing the other night, I thought I would pop in and see you're doing. Thank you. Did I say did I say Happy New Year? Yeah, sometimes I do that, I guess. I don't know. I've been in the goofy mood lately, sort of. I'm in a like childlike state, so I'm just gonna keep acting like one. No, I'm joking a little bit, but yeah, it does help that I get to play with the kids pretty much every day, so that's good.
complete theology of why we're here, what we're doing here, and where this is going. You understand what I'm saying, though. I'm sure you do, that to have a different purpose in mind is going to mean a very different thing, even coexisting.
I do. Yeah, I agree there. I should probably jump. I have to get some kids to bed here, but I think this has been a very fruitful conversation, by the way, and I do appreciate it. And yeah, just want to say that again before I go. But yeah, thanks,
Okay,
Jay.
man. I enjoyed it too, man. I'll see you again sometime, man.
For sure, for sure.
Yeah. Take care,
All right,
brother.
much love, my friend.
All right. Well, that was kind of interesting. I don't. I've only talked to him a couple times, but we'll probably see more of him again. He's very good listener, good speaker, mild mannered. Definitely.
I'm gonna have to go by shit-faced drunk one
But I'm
night.
gonna go back and
No,
play some music. Just popped in there unexpectedly. Wow, it's like
I'm
an
joking.
hour and a half went by. Love those kind of discussions, though. Love it. Time flies.
All right, and now we'll go find the other video. I was not lying, by the way. I did actually have to go and put the kids to bed and all that, but then a few minutes later, a few minutes later, I was over here. Oh, that's the one I was at last night. Where's the one? Wonder if he keeps his lights up. I hope so. It's like it. Yeah. Not the FOIA request. Okay, it's here. So then we'll get back into Hillary's stream. Uh, for those who were not there,
He thinks
Hillary's jumped into JG's stream in the middle of that conversation. She covered a little bit back on the channel and dug in. But it was really funny because he didn't have JG's end playing on this side. So when this stream first starts over at Hillary's channel, all you hear is him coming at Jay once he gets into the room, but you don't hear any of the responses. So I thought that was very funny. So we listened to both versions of that, and then I'm not sure exactly what all the banter is here before I get in the room, but I'm going to join these guys in a few minutes, and so yeah, should be fun. And we talk a little bit of shit. We were talking some shit last night too. I love talking shit with these guys. It's fun.
He thinks he does, though, because
Yeah.
if you consider his source, he thinks that only the Bible contains wisdom. Everyone else is just borrowing from the wisdom in the Bible.
Hmm.
Oh, are you on JG's?
I was briefly.
Oh, because like I just saw where Sammy mentioned that you actually got on. Did you get to speak at all?
Just for a few minutes. I asked him if he'd like to discuss, because he was asking what I wanted to talk about, and I said, maybe we can talk about what the Bible has to say about hypocrites who bear false witness against their neighbor and accuse them of all kinds of stuff. For instance, saying that they want them to come on and critique.
Sorry, I had to unmute there. Skyworks said JG's getting quite a bit of pushback recently, which is nice. Yeah, I mean, I've seen him in some back and forths. I guess he's gotten keen on. He's starting to like block people from the side chat and stuff, which was kind of most of Hillary's concern. And then I guess he's been like leaving him in the backstage, not letting him in. I don't know. This has been an ongoing thing with them. And Tog said something about it. A couple other people as well. So this has been a problem with JG's channel. I hear Ace Theo's channel. So yeah, but like for me, like I was just saying in the last time we covered this that JG like had this like wordy way of saying basically, well, I'm not going to run a precept script on you, and I was like, yeah, well, thanks for that, you know. But it wasn't said like in the conversation. It was in the review. But yeah, we were kind of that was what I was looking at. Was like, okay, if I'm gonna have a conversation with this guy, I'm not gonna, you know, it's not gonna be some Darth Dawkins bullshit, you know, like. Um, so that's why the conversation actually like flowed pretty good in the way that like when I started out, I just brought up the Trinity because it was something that was on my mind, I guess, or whatever. Um, and then we kind of just shifted that into like moral framework and stuff like that. And I felt like I did pretty good, like as far as holding that line of like the basic principle is non-harm. He kept saying non-aggression. I kept going back, no, not it's non-harm, right? And then like we can use that and universalize it to like all of the behaviors that we want to see and say, okay, well, when do we violate this, right? And we violate it only when it's necessary, ideally. But yeah, Eric said he's a little fragile. And trying to get JG to step away from the DD script is not easy. No, he didn't use it at all on me. I thought that was good. So I mean, I'll give credit where credit's due.
different ideas, but then they keep them hidden so that they can actually express themselves. And then he says, "Oh, what are you talking about? You're using your voice, to tell me you can't use your voice," which isn't what I said, but that's a good attempt at a rewrite. And what I'm doing is coming on to say, for weeks, he's either kept me in the backstage and not let me on until I've just left because he's not worth more than 20 minutes of my time, or he keeps me blocked continually. I've been blocked for I don't even know how long, but I know for sure the past several weeks. And he
Oh, I
talks
know
all this
exactly
crap.
why. I
Uh-huh.
mean, it's in the first part of your question. You went to the Bible as an
Oh,
authority on something and asked him to look at it with you.
that was my mistake.
Right, that's not in his script at all. His script is keep away when it comes to the Bible. That's off limits, especially when talking to someone who's not already firmly in the cult.
Mm-hmm.
Scientology, basically.
Definitely Scientology adjacent.
When you ask him for his worldview and it's a secret, there's your first sign. But it's a secret after he's like, I can't give you my worldview until you give me yours.
Mm-hmm.
Like my worldview doesn't have any legs and cannot stand on its own. I have to have your help to talk about my worldview. And he never will talk about his world. It's just a ploy to get you to talk.
Right. And then when I say, well, my worldview is the Bible, the actual, scriptural text and not any additional crap, then he just folds because he can't handle it.
Well, I mean, he's going to fold anyway because he fucked around and admitted to subscribing to divine command theory and then spent the rest of the time trying to dodge Serb's follow-up about his own question about toddler grape, saying if God told you to do it, it would be good. You'd have to do it. And he fucked around and said it wouldn't be good, and then later said that he believes in divine command theory. It was just wishy-washy, not going to own it. But yes, I would grape a toddler if God told me to.
Well, I think he did whatever he was told to not, but that's a different issue. I
God
say,
damn. Hey, Sammy.
It's Sammy.
Hey. Oh, I didn't realize we were live. I'm glad I didn't say anything.
Oh no, please.
Yeah, like is this thing on? Yeah, I mean at least he's learning a little bit. What was I gonna? Shit, I was gonna comment on something there and then I lost it. But yeah, it'll come back to me. All right, keep going.
Both of you guys have been kept backstage while he pretends to beat his chest and take all challengers, right?
Yep.
Dude, I swear I've got to interact with him once through the chat. I said something along the lines of, "But babies taste good," right? Something like that. Because I was talking about eating babies. Yeah, he blocked me.
Oh yeah. That was my thought. That reminded me. It was like the whole divine command thing, and what they always fall back on is if you like introduce something like that, let's say, well, God would obviously never command me to do that. But then, you can cite all kinds of biblical verses where God does command, like really, really, uh, not good shit. So yeah, it's there and it's in the book.
Will not engage me. I've never got to speak to him except he come into Aces once, and I got to say a few words. But
You
he
said more than a
won't
few
fucking
words.
talk. Oh, I didn't I?
Yeah, you gave him a little bit of hell.
It was the only chance I've ever had to fucking engage the guy. He just
Well, you
won't
have
let me go.
atheist in your name, so automatically he's going to have a bias against you. He doesn't want to talk to someone who's not in the club.
Should I
Not
change
to,
it?
you've mentioned that for years.
I
You really
know.
want to piss a Darth Dawkins guy off? Call yourself agnostic. That's
Hmm.
they will not accept that you could possibly be agnostic. You will take a positive position one way or another. They believe it's
Yeah, I
just
think the next time I come in, I'll just call myself a laxiest, just to get that right off the, right out on the table or whatever. Yeah,
honest
good.
to be agnostic. You're denying that God must be referenced for whatever the fuck as the fundamental necessary thing. Whatever Darth Dawkins' bullshit script says.
A necessary precondition. Oh yeah, something like that.
Do you
Well,
have any
it's
facts
more-
that don't reference?
It's a more honest label. I am actually agnostic.
Not a concept that they think is real though. So that's going to invite them going. They want to tell you that you're wrong about that.
Yeah.
Now they can't prove anything to an atheist, but an agnostic, they can prove to an agnostic that he's really an atheist, and that gets them hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, part of the problem is that they use a Greek word without knowing its meaning. The original gnosis was experiential knowledge. So you have to have experience of the divine in order to claim to be, which and then ask them, well, if you don't believe in agnostics, does that make you Gnostic? And then watch them dissemble.
Yeah.
Certainly, if you're an atheist and you're being spoken to by a believer and given the message that there's a midway point when you are no longer an atheist, but you don't know enough to fully believe. So would you be an agnostic at that part in your transition, your conversion? Is there a moment where you're sort of agnostic, or do you immediately just flip from atheist to believer? How's that work?
Well, I think the only answer they can give is, well, you were never really atheist or agnostic. You just were suppressing your knowledge that you definitely had. You just apparently don't know about.
I forgot
The
about
problem there too is like that there are like basically two definitions of atheism, right? Or it's not even really two definitions. It's the same definition. It's just a different uh, stance by the person who either says that like I know there is no God, or there is the person that says, oh well, I don't have sufficient reason, or it hasn't been demonstrated to me. Um, Again, right now I'm in the position where I feel like I continue to call myself an atheist because I don't think that any description given by believers is really sufficient to cover what would qualify as a god in my mind, right? Like, so I wouldn't just accept whatever definition of God that a theist gives me. um, but I could acknowledge that some deity does exist. I just don't accept the ones that they're putting on the table that they're presenting. So, Skyworks, how do you know whether you're being told to or not? Yeah. Yeah, that's something you gotta talk about with God. God would give you the answer to that question, I suppose. Maybe, or it's just your own mind talking back to itself. One or the other.
about that. Yeah. You were dumbing yourself down, didn't even know it. Well, fuck me running. They've got some clever sophistry, man. Jesus, H, Mary, and JoJo. I love
And-
how critical thinking is the demon of doubt, and
Yeah.
that must be punished and exercised, because if you have doubt, your faith is weak, and you just need to talk yourself into it more.
Or even factual observation. We've seen this last week. I haven't, but I've read about it in the Google chats, how people have been going in and saying that, reality is the foundation, and then like Peter W. and JG just fall apart. Oh no, reality, we can't accept that. We have to stick with our, God.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah, of course. I kept referring to nature and the universe rather than just reality itself, right? But yeah, we could just say, well, it's the observable, scientific sense of reality. Um, Another thing I found very interesting, I find funny, anecdotally, in the church, I hear a lot of people giving testimonies or whatever, and they're always like, well, yeah, yeah, of course, it's normal. We all have doubts sometimes. That's being human. Sometimes we're going to be in doubt, but the thing that really like, got rid of my doubts was just that I like came to church and I prayed a lot. And it was like, okay, so you just mind fuck yourself back into thinking the thing that you were doubting in the first place, and you never actually like followed the doubt to because like the doubt is like looked at or perceived, like Will said, kind of as a weakness, right? But they say, well, no, it's normal to doubt. But if you pray, then you should, stop doubting at some point. It's like, well, yeah, of course, because you're going to talk yourself back into the thing that you were doing in the first place that you were doubting whether you should be doing it or not, right? But given, a sufficient amount of time just talking to yourself, like eventually you'll be like, oh, yeah, actually, all my friends are at the church, and no, I don't want to go forge off on a new life as an atheist. That would be completely absurd, for people who were like raised in that, like that's of course it's reasonable, because they're thinking like, oh, I'm going to lose my family, I'm going to lose my support structure, all of that good shit. Not to mention, having to deal with like the fear of death and all of this other stuff that's been smuggled in there.
Brett Keane tonight say that God created reality outside of reality. I'm like, well,
Wow.
that means he wasn't real at the time. How does a thing that's not real create real things? That's dumb. You don't do anything outside of reality for real.
Oh, so yeah, Skyworks got some comments in there. Seeing the divine, it don't have no mind emerged from it. Oh, all right. See, I mean that kind of makes sense. Say, well, I mean, the divine could have a mind, but I would think it would be a simple mind, not a complex one. Like God is the creation of evolved organisms, a fabricated idea, an imaginary totem. Yeah, um, yeah, I think so. And in that sense, like again, it is the way people describe it, and you know, simply the act of gendering your deity. No, he's a man. He wants you to call him daddy. Yeah, I was like, okay, yeah, that's totally what God would be like. It makes total sense to me. Yeah.
Yeah. They're trying to bring back special, aren't they?
They denied existence. So Serb just reworded it to reality because that's what it is. And so now they're like, well, fuck, if we don't like existence, we've already put ourselves in trouble before by saying that God's outside of existence. What happens when we say he's outside of reality? Let's just roll that dice and see. Oh, we just made him imaginary. Fuck me. Fuck me.
This is the one Serb used on Jill like forever and a day ago, though, right? The special existence of God. Yeah.
Serb just holds the mirror up, man. It's beautiful. Oh, it's cute.
House, did you have something? I saw you on mute for a little bit.
Well, no,
Did you say the reality is I peed on your floor and it's your fault?
it's kind of the same as when they say God created himself, but like he did it before he existed. He didn't need to exist in order to create himself.
You've heard a Christian say that God created himself?
Yes.
What?
I've heard him say that he thought himself into being.
What?
Yeah. A non-entity outside of reality somehow is able to think and have generative thought that generates themselves. Auto-generation.
Power, autonomy. It's amazing. And all of this.
That's crazy too. Like when you describe it that way, you're like, okay, so nothing existed, but there was space apparently, and God thought the thought of being, and then was there in the space, and then started to create other stuff. And okay, self-generation from what? Nothing. The universe from nothing. That's the Christian hypothesis, apparently, not whoever that physicist guy was or whatever that guy
reality. It sounds unrealistic.
No, it's just mysterious.
So I don't have a way to mess with non-Trinitarian Christians except for just take their book apart. But like philosophically, the Trinity destroys any credibility as being logical. Like it. As soon as JG said that he, believes in the Trinity, but he's still peddling the idea that he's a logical interlocutor, I was like, are we clear, like, on what the laws of identity are? Should we go over that? He doesn't want to do that. Why is that man not in here? Why is he
I was
come
just
outside?
trying to go over and make sure that I pinned the StreamYard link.
Yeah. There's no reason that monkey can go into JG's but can't come in here with cool people that don't obsess over children.
and doing
much.
very horrible things to children and claim that
but
it's good.
Serb just let him walk right into the. Serb said, "I leave space in my worldview for God. So if a God appeared and told me to grape a toddler, I guess it would necessarily be good." JG was like, "You don't believe in God? You can't import God. Where do you get knowledge of God?" Oh, and I loved when JG claimed that you couldn't. Oh, there's the man himself. There's
Yep.
Cerberus.
You're
Yeah.
both
Oh,
hitting
I
it.
did that. I won't do it again.
Okay.
Yeah. When oh man, I forgot what I was gonna say. I was about to brag on Serb, and then he came in here. I was like, "No, that's gay. I can't
It's
big
a
him
little
up on
bit
these."
gay. I like gay.
I have been like all about that fucking stream though ever since it happened. There was so much watching JG become a complete hypocrite under his own standards over and over again. It's beautiful. Yeah, be humble. Go ahead, sir. Be humble.
Serb, you're muted.
Yeah, but I'm lurking and reading.
Okay.
You know, and like it's not just obviously the brilliance of the arguments and tying him in knots and all that, but just the fact you managed to engage with him for like what, an hour? Was it 40 minutes or something? That in itself isn't a cheat. Like you didn't get kicked. You know.
I like how you minimalized over and over again his worldview by saying that you had to find where it fit into your worldview, reality, and then go from there. When you said that you had something more fundamental than God to ground reality, I know he's shit down both legs. He was so mad.
Oh yeah, what really gets him is he does those little things that tries to insult you with them.
Yeah.
And then
snarky.
Yeah, so like when he goes like he did like the moment by moment thing, trying to point out that he thinks there's something wrong with my point of view, and I just go, yeah, that's how time works.
Oh, it was ridiculous. And you're like, no, seriously, that's how it fucking worked. Is this news to you? Identity over time, motherfucker.
My favorite bit was you asked him twice was, is this something you have trouble with?
I fucking despise those commercials. I swear I've seen it like I feel like they've been trying to brainwash me since I was a kid. And yeah, you just brought up a horrible triggering memory.
You seem to be having trouble with
You seem to be having a problem with A equals A. Do you have a problem with A equals A? And he got interesting, or he got nervous because he kept saying, I find it interesting to bring up. He's like, he's easing the question onto the table. I find it interesting at times to bring up, where do you get your grounding for all facts without referencing God?
So lame.
It's just going back and politely trying to push the script up your ass again. You seem like you've prepared for dealing with presups from a lot of experience with presup, Serb. Is that accurate?
Oh man, I've been arguing with Christians trying to presup since before the internet, on bulletin boards when you had to dial into the bulletin board when your 28K modem. None of this is new. There isn't a single new thing to what JG does.
Oh, but there's new things to what you do. You've taken existence and converted it so subtly into reality that they feel like dumbasses putting their God outside of it, but they have no choice to put their God outside of reality.
Yeah, I don't think I really realized presup was a thing until probably like the first time I saw Ken Ham, and that was in that Bill Maher movie. And when he tries to throw back that whole like, I don't remember the whole back and forth between them, but at the end of it, Ken Ham just goes, "Well, are you God?" And Bill Maher just looks at him smugly. He goes, "Nope." That was it. He just looked so mad. And I was like, "Oh, that's the way that works." Yeah.
It's so predictable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gave up on using the term existence. I just really like specifically hearing them say their God doesn't exist. It's just as good as saying their God isn't real. But like, I don't know, I like the other way better.
Yes,
But they seem to care. They seem to be held up on the reality word less than the existence word.
Right. They're so ready to say that God made reality when he was outside of it. I heard Brett Keane say it tonight at Wild Hearts. He created reality outside of it.
I think JG is still doing. He nearly did.
Did you say Brett Keane was at Wild Hearts? What the fuck did that happen? Yeah, look that up.
You sort of pulled him up, but he was still conflating the universe with reality, and you were like, "Man, there could be other universes." But he couldn't get it. He kept conflating reality and the universe. That's why they will put their God outside of it, because they think it's just the universe.
Oh, so Serb, you think the sum of all things is also the source of all things?
No, just all things.
It was just I've watched it like 6 times now. It's fucking fantastic because I can't believe he just bumbled right into some of the shit that he's saying. And then as soon as divine command theory came up, he just completely crumbled. No. And when he said that he couldn't entertain a hypothesis that didn't already happen, I'm like, what the fuck is the point of a hypothesis if it already fucking happened?
Do you know what a hypothesis is?
Now, how can he justify that when he admits that he uses a fictional entity as the grounding of all being?
Well, next time I talk to him, I'm going to do 2 main things.
You think there's going to be a next time? That's awesome.
Well, if I have to wait a month or 2, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
I have a sticky note on my monitor here. I'm going to immediately, when I come in, we ask for a topic to talk about. I'm going to bring up
In simulation theory, that isn't a problem. No, yeah. I mean, we could definitely be living in a simulation, you know. It'd be kind of cool and interesting if we could actually break out of the simulation. But I don't think it really like the Matrix type of scenario is the only way that would actually work, and it's so like far fetched. Like the reality is, like if we broke out of the simulation, we wouldn't exist because we only exist within the simulation. So even if we knew, it wouldn't matter because we could never exist in the real reality. We would always have to exist within the simulated reality, right? Like
how he was acting like he had a problem how people differentiated. I forget the exact word he used.
You're the professor. Use whichever word you like.
Yeah. But between objects, like he was always talking about that next step and broke his hang
He
up.
said distinguish.
Distinguish.
You said
Yeah,
topographically is the distinction.
Yeah, it's mainly it's topography. I told him before all this was going on,
transferring to bridge.
and it upset him. But I'm going to bring that up first, and that's what we're going to talk about. And then from this point on, whenever he asks me an ethical question, like is in your worldview, can you do this? I'm just going to say, yeah, if God told me. Until
Yeah, this ain't no simulation. It feels pretty damn real to me. Yeah.
he gets upset about it.
Just gonna keep the mirror in his face the whole time. Hey, what? Look at yourself now. Ask yourself that question. Well, see, that's why when you totally deflated him when he dismissed Wildheart for asking that question about divine command theory, and then you told him it was part of ethics. He was like, "Oh, I knew that. Sort of knew that. It's not really. Where did you find that, sir? Show me. I'm interested. Tell me more."
Yeah, and that it's an entire pillar of logic.
Oh, axiology too. That was fun. He thought value of things, like a study of values, and you're like, yeah, it's a whole fucking thing, bro. And then you said, I know apologists struggle with philosophical terms. You were just kicking him in the balls every time you got a chance.
Yeah, well, that was 100% honest. You will never hear anything about axiology from an apologist because ethics is a subcategory of axiology. You know, all ethical arguments, the counter argument, the argument for is always an argument of value every time.
You did, I think, misrepresent yourself one time. Remember when you said you didn't have a problem personally with saying things that were untrue?
Oh yeah, I don't think it's immoral.
I know, but
What-
that's
what
not
I
the
was
way it
gonna
came
get.
out. It's not the
Oh,
way it
maybe
came out. I'm just, but like he, believe me, when he watches it over, he's gonna be like, all right, timestamp. Yep, he's a liar. He said so.
Do you think that he reviews any of his interactions, or does he just declare himself the victor and
Hey, it's
rewrite
me.
the
He
script?
does. He
Okay.
does review them, and sometimes
So now I'm on panel, about almost 30 minutes in. So
obsessively, especially if his ego is bruised. He takes a narcissistic wound, and he obsesses.
Did somebody say Khrushchev?
Oh, monkey!
What's up, you guys?
I see you've
Yeah.
had your turn on the dance floor with JG
that was a Family Guy reference. If you don't know now, you know.
this week too, huh?
Yeah. That makes like I think thrice I've been well either he's been on my channel or I've been on his.
Well, you're probably pregnant by now.
Yeah, and I didn't want to interrupt you. It's just like he's always habitually got me blocked. And so unless I actually go and wait backstage forever and see if he'll ever let me on, I never get to say anything.
Yeah, but look at your.
Yeah, I think the last time when JG came on here, it was one of these shows, but no, it wasn't a church because I remember because he came in and like shortly thereafter I had to end the stream, and so I kind of felt bad about that, and I did promise that we'd have future engagement. So I've tried to make a point to go over there and say hi in the chat and all of that stuff, but yeah, anyway. Doug says, I hope he streams tonight. Ooh, JG?
Name.
Yeah,
The
no, I
dip
think it might be the
sticker.
Cool.
avatar.
I
That's
changed
what
it.
threw him off. Yeah.
I changed it for when I was over there to Hillary's emails.
What from the love wand? What was it when you?
Dip sticker. The gangster of love.
Riding on the love boat. Yeah.
Some people call him a space cowboy. Intermission. Okay, all right. We'll go back to it. I was thinking about shifting gears, but we'll wait. I wanna see. I'm not sure how long this lasts. I know that I actually ended up having to go AFK, and the stream had ended when I came back. So I'm not sure how long I was in the conversation here. This goes on for like an hour 26, but yeah, I know we shoot the shit for a few
I mean,
minutes. Here.
you know, I felt bad because the last time he was over at my channel, he seemed like he wanted to like really engage, and I kind of cut him short. So I was like, all right, maybe I owe him this one, and then yeah. So now I'm getting the pre-supper, yeah, the whole thing going on there, and I was like, okay, well, wait, can we agree on this one fact? And he's like, well, how do you get to that fact? And yeah.
Oh, I loved when he
Should have
said,
said reality.
just because I agree with you doesn't mean I actually agree with you. I'm still going to go back and challenge it. I challenge my own agreement. I paraphrased the last bit.
And after like reflecting on it, I kept looking at it and thinking, well, like, because I guess he's aware that I'm going to a Christian church, and but you know, like I've consistently said, like I still don't call myself a Christian and all that. I'm attending the church and going through the motions and doing the things, but you know, it's like a different thing for me going on, right? Like I'm not. This isn't. Yeah. I'm not going to be over here. You know, I mean, unless something happens, I guess, but it's not going to be this type of situation where I'm out, like preaching the gospel to you and telling you that you ought to go to church and all of this good shit, right? Like if I know people who already go to a church and I'm just like, well, maybe you could try this one out. You're already a Christian, but I'm not like trying to convert people in that sense or anything like that. And so it's been a bit of a different thing that I'm dealing with and I'm doing over here. But my point there was that like JG like seemed to keep trying to say, well, okay, you could say that as a naturalist, as an atheist, yada yada. But if we say as Christians X, Y, and Z, and I'm saying like, no, you can still have like the Christian naturalist argument. Like that still exists. You could still be a Christian and say, oh well, these things. So you don't actually need divine command in that sense. Like there's so much unnecessary stuff that they're throwing in there. But I think he tried to like pigeonhole me that way to like try to make me answer as he thought a Christian should or something like that. Yeah, interesting people to talk with about their positions. Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, I enjoy some of his streams for sure. Um, sometimes, honestly, well, with any type of like philosophical discussion, like it's either like I've heard it like so many times, I don't really feel like any new ground is being made. So sometimes it can get like boring and redundant that way. But that's not just like Jay's channel. It's like any channel that's trying to do like philosophical engagements, So but yeah, most of the time I do enjoy it, and I always love a good dumpster fire. Skyworks said a Christian ethos ish, yeah, something like it.
Yeah, that's essentially where we arrived at, and I said like when I left, I was like, okay, that's cool, but and he acknowledged we're gonna go around in a circle there, because he's gonna have to necessarily reference the deity, and I don't need that for my moral standpoint. So
Yes, but then how do you know your moral standpoint is correct? Where's your magic book, Kevin? Do you have a magic book?
I don't like it. I don't like it, Kev. You can't like come up with your own fucking morals and stuff.
Actually, he didn't really like push back against it as much as I thought he would. He just said, "Well, well, how do you count for that? How do you?" That was the kind of the thing, the game there. And he's saying, "Well, that's all fine and good if you're a naturalist, but you can't be a Christian and say that," which I also think is false. Um, but yeah, no, it didn't really seem like he had a lot of good reputation for the things I was saying because he was acknowledging that like, oh well, yeah, if I use sense observation and empirical data, yeah, I could arrive at the same conclusion. It's like, okay, so what's your problem there? Uh,
Well, I
you
did hit
didn't mention God.
him with my
Yeah.
own morals, and he was like, "Why should I trust you?" That was basically like where he fell back to.
You shouldn't. You should think for yourself, fuckwit, and stop asking long dead Jews of the Mediterranean, or not Mediterranean, goddamn what I said, the Levant, what they thought 2,000 or so years ago.
Yeah.
Man.
Why did they?
I'm not
Why did they
sure
claim like?
The
Go ahead.
Red
Go ahead.
Bible will. I don't.
If you went to the Levant in like 100 AD and just plucked up 100 Christians and you just recorded what they thought right about Christianity, I don't think I've ever actually run into a Christian on the internet that would agree with any of them.
I think you're right. Maybe that would be another question to ask him. Like, well, if you went back to 100 AD and talked to Christians, how long do you think it would take before they like tore you apart or stoned you?
See, I like asking. I'm glad you brought up stoning. I like asking them what was wrong with throwing rocks at people that picked up sticks on Saturday. Like, why do we stop that? Because like, there's people out there right now on Saturdays picking up fucking sticks and offending God. Why do we stop whooping that ass? And they're always like, well, that was for a different time period. That was for different people. That was the law under Moses. And, you know,
What was the unchanging law that just changed?
I love how Paul is.
Which is interesting how they like to pick and choose which like parts of the Old Testament they want to adhere to. Like, you know, they always want to like talk about Leviticus and shit. They're like, oh no, you can't be gay. You know, one man, one woman, which I'm not even sure where that is. I don't think that's actually in the Bible anywhere. They just said something about like, well, that's how they made Adam and Eve. So obviously he just meant, you know, but yeah. Anyway, um, but like, you know, the whole like wearing the mixed fabrics things or like, you know, not doing any work on the Sabbath. Like there's some really orthodox people who still follow that latter one, I guess, but like I don't think most people who claim to be Christian like actually adhere to that. Like there's so many like laws in the Old Testament that Christians just go, well, you know, it's like New Covenant, or you know, that was back then and we don't do that anymore. You know, slavery obviously is one of those. They're just like, yeah, no, well, he didn't, you know, he didn't need to say anything about slavery. We figured it out on our own, you know. So, you know, we just ignore those slave laws back there.
At direct odds with Jesus throughout like everything that he's talking about. Jesus
Yep.
is like, not one jot or tittle will pass. And Paul's like, yeah, fuck most of that shit. Just don't eat blood. Stop fucking your moms and stuff. You know, just like that was.
Yeah, to like burn stuff. Yeah, just save that meat for yourselves. Yeah.
Yeah, so they offered it to gods. Who's watching? You can get you a little of that barbecue.
It's funny too. I was reviewing a stream I did over at Lupin's. Well, the Lupin was doing. I joined his stream a couple weeks ago, and I was looking at it, and like Terry had said something like, "Oh, well, you know, they have like baby sacrifice," and I was like, "Hold on, like, didn't the Christians do that too?" And yeah, they definitely did. Yeah, at least for a period of time.
I don't think they critically think at all about the Bible. Like if you think for just a moment, if everything's real, right, in the Bible, 100% chance we don't have everything Jesus said or did. Or that would just years.
It's not even like sacrificing babies. Think about like they burned little girls alive if they were accused of like witchcraft and shit, right? Like for like that was not. I mean, yeah, we've got like the witch trials that are well known in like, you know, in America and stuff. But before that, they were doing that shit. If they were like burning them alive, but they like tie them to a log and throw them in the river or some shit like that, like some craziness.
And years of what Jesus did just wouldn't fit in the book.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But there's this guy Paul that comes around, and he just starts contradicting all of the followers Jesus had in real life.
To their faces.
Yeah, to their faces. He's telling them they're terrible in like different ways.
Well, yeah, especially over
Just
the
like-
dick skin thing, man. He was upset over that dick skin.
That at the bare minimum, why wouldn't you be at least suspicious that maybe Paul is full of it, and we just don't have some of the stuff that was said or written before?
You don't need it. His own admissions in his letters is that people were accusing him of being a swindler and a false prophet and all that shit. Like he was running from town to town, escaping his own reputation.
Yeah, and I think we have evidence of him just like slaughtering people en masse, right? Like that was his whole thing.
Where?
Like,
Where do we have evidence of that? The Sanhedrin
Well,
never issued any decrees for Christians to be hunted down and shit like that.
no,
That's bullshit.
Well,
Could
maybe
be
he
through
did it
other.
on his own because that's supposedly why he was on the road to Damascus,
Right, right.
slaughtering more Christians. So maybe he's just pretending to be.
I think I'm talking about the conversion of Paul. Was yeah, that was the whole thing. But anyway, yeah.
A serial killer, and really he just popped up out of his own chest.
I think Serb really stumbled across something that shattered Praise's mind when he informed us all that Moses wrote the second set of the Ten Commandments because God didn't follow through, and he wrote some different shit. And I didn't even know that. And I looked at it, I was like, well, I'll just be. I did not know that. And Praise was like, he completely could not fathom. He argued even when Serb showed him the text. He's like, no,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, God just straight up fucking lies in that.
Yep.
I don't even know how you could argue that he didn't. He says they'll be exactly the same, and then it lists them, and they're not.
But God doesn't change his mind about shit. He doesn't change. I love how they deny that God negotiates in the Bible. Like God doesn't get what he wants from Moses. He's like, you need to go tell Pharaoh this, and Moses, like,
I don't know. So I had to look this up real quick, but I'm like, because I remember stories here, like the overview just says that he was a persecutor who actively sought to destroy the early church and witnessed the martyrdom of Stephen. But like I had heard that he like personally went around like murdering Christians, like it was all. But anyway, maybe I was just listening on some bullshit, but that's what I remembered.
He's
So.
like, but come on, man, I made your mouth. You could do this. He's like, no, I'm not gonna do it. He's like, well, if you don't, well, what if I gave you a stick that turns into a snake? What about that? And he's like, I don't know. He's like, well, what about my brother, Aaron? He likes to talk. He can't shut the fuck up. Could he? And the guy's like, yeah, all right, fucking Aaron can do all the talking. You just stand there and throw the stick down when he tells you. He negotiates.
And there's a great interpretation of that where they say, well, maybe he had a speech impediment, and I love that. They're like, okay, God gave him the speech impediment.
So he's Joe Biden. He can still get that.
But
Well,
like seriously, was his brother just talking? So Moses was literally just a figurehead, or was Moses whispering in Aaron's ear and then Aaron was saying it?
No. The story's even dumber than that because
Okay, so
Aaron
wait. When I changed the search parameters, it says according to the book of Acts. So according to the Bible, Saul of Tarsus, later known as Paul, was heavily involved in persecuting earlier Christians, which included threatening them with death and approving of their execution. So he didn't personally do it, but he ordered the executions, I guess. He arrested, imprisoned, and beat followers of Jesus, actively seeking to destroy the church before his conversion on the road to Damascus. Yeah. Okay, so we're on the same page there.
doesn't talk. He's not the one that does the talking after all. They get there, and Moses ends up talking after all.
Yeah. You're
Right? Over and over again, he goes back.
What the? Why is this shit on my screen now? Go away. Oh, there we go. All right. I accidentally pressed another button. I didn't know you could do that.
Talks like, well, why did we add Aaron in at all? And why do they ignore the negotiation where God's like, what? Get out of the fucking way. I'm going to kill all these stupid bastards and start a whole nother line out of you. And Moses is like, hold on. That's going to look silly to your enemies. And he's like, oh, yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, the Egyptians are going to be like, oh, you did this thing in the desert. And you're right, Moses. All right, fine. I thought God doesn't change his mind and doesn't need the wisdom of men. He doesn't repent. What the fuck is all that about?
God's not all that good of a wrestler either because Jacob whooped him.
Yeah. And I mean, either that or he's just a fucking liar, right? Like, or the whole thing with the dude, Abe, honest Abe over there, take your son off the mountain and make you think you're gonna kill him. We actually had like a whole conversation about that too. It came up in the church, and then I was talking to another guy about it, and anyway, yeah, it was funny. I don't know why I'm bringing that up, but
worse than change his mind. He's just a petty fuck. He hardened Pharaoh's heart when Pharaoh was like, yeah, right, I'll let him go. He's like, no, you won't.
Well, I love the fact that they think that God is just and that he doesn't do things to innocent people. People have it coming. And then you bring up that thing with David where God incites David to do a sin.
I don't know, Lupin's live. Do you think we should try to join? I don't even know if I'm capable of that.
Probably Harry Potter is probably in there too somewhere. But everything takes away from the Bible, and generally it perverts it in some way, in a lot of ways. It's amazing how much is borrowed from Christianity and Christian foundations. Even stuff like atheism. Atheism, like the foundations are based off of Christianity, whether they like to admit or not. The wanting to do good and do good for others and things like that. It's like
Now atheists want to do good and do. I thought atheists just wanted to destroy the world and wreak havoc and make everybody sin.
all biblical stuff.
He's not talking about atheism. He's talking about secular humanism. He's just calling secular humanism atheism. Funny stuff. All right. I don't know. I don't even know if I have the capacity to join a stream while streaming. I've never done that before, to my knowledge. Or maybe I have, but I don't remember it. I don't know. What do you think? Is he taking callers? Yeah, it's his open panel, sinners and saints. Thinking about it, it's only him, and I don't know who the other guy's over there except Amicus. He was there in our last conversation. But that was just like a weird, I don't know, man. This guy sometimes it's like semi-coherent. You say, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? I don't know. I'll consider it. I'll consider it. We'll see where it goes.
It's just a number of the people. It says that God incites him to do it. And then God says, you fuckwit, what have you done this evil for? And he's like, I'm going to punish you. You get to choose.
You're not a...
And David's like, I'm just going to trust you, whatever you think. So God wipes out like 70,000 people in 3 days with pestilence because it's fair. David, meanwhile, doesn't get punished. The people didn't count themselves. Like, where's the justice? That's just a tantrum.
I don't know. If God closed up all the wombs of the women before the flood, so no babies would die in the flood, why would you still need the flood?
Precisely.
Yeah. I've heard Praise make that argument before, actually, but that was right after he proposed that the rains didn't start until the giants had eaten the last baby.
Oh,
okay.
Oh my god.
Jeez.
But
it's evolved.
If the giants ate all the babies, then what was the need of the flood still?
To create a historical record so the people in the future who do what God tells them will know the punishments that they'll receive.
That is his.
It's funny too. I was reading over at the Answers in Stoicism channel, also known as Stupid Monkey Philosophy. Last night I read the first book of the Book of Mormon, which is the first book of Nephi, and that's basically how it starts out. It's not it doesn't seem like they're talking about the flood, but basically the guy he moves his family. There's some shenanigans happening, and he's like, we're getting the fuck out of here. And he builds a big ass boat, and it's kind of like, it's almost like Noah shortened, but instead of like the flood coming, he's just like, no, this place is about to burn down. We're getting the fuck out of here. And he builds a big ass boat. And I guess that's how they get to America. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure all that out, but it's kind of interesting that there's a lot of talk of building big boats. Was big back in those days, I guess because nobody really had ships, right? Like, so yeah, obviously, like the fucking Ark is gonna be like, oh yeah, that's some majestic engineering there going on, way back in the day. But yeah.
His answer, he said it was to set a lesson. He punished the entire world so 8 motherfuckers knew that you don't fuck around with Yahweh.
God did not account for motorboating on that day. He was oblivious to the future.
No, motorboating. I have an image in my mind. What do you mean by that?
I think
was just talking about modern
travel
by seafaring vessel, but yeah, I mean,
okay.
You interpret that, yeah.
Does anyone else
a double entendre
see the loophole where ducks got out scot-free? All these other animals, they bite it, but ducks are just going, yeah, let it fucking rain. There's evil ducks still out there breeding, and if you haven't noticed, ducks rape. They do.
Yeah.
For interesting reading. I do agree. Yeah. It's interesting. I mean, if you can get through, like, I feel like there's the language gap there. Like, it's really hard to read King James because the Old English is just stupid, and you're just like, oh, stop. If we could just, I feel like it helps to modernize things. The Book of Mormon has like a little bit of that, but yeah, the stories, although, again, like, if we're not taking them, completely like literally or historically or whatever, but anyway, but yeah, they're very different, but sometimes similar to the ones in the Bible. There's another one we're reading out of Alma, I think it was. Um, it's weird because in this story, like the most faithful people in the story who are like defending, the God guy in Christianity, and they're supposedly preaching the Gospels. At the end of it, they decide to like bury their swords, and then they're like, okay, we're just gonna give it to God. We're not gonna fight these people. They're pissed at us. They've driven us from like town to town, and so they bury their swords and they just come out and they're like, hey guys, can't we just get along? And the townspeople just murder them. And those are the good guys that are getting murdered by heathens. And that's just like the end of the story. They're just like, yep, they went out and they tried to preach and they got murdered. And so that's how it goes sometimes. God did not save them, but they're still sitting pretty. They get the next life and all that good
That's
shit.
what I'm saying.
They
They
got
would have been
corkscrews
destroyed if God
down
was.
there,
Oh, you had to talk about that weird fucking noodle thing that they got. It's creepy. It's creepy, right? But yeah, they really screw each other against their will, and all because God couldn't foresee that the flood wouldn't affect those little rapists. Now you're all gonna think about that every time you see a duck. You're like, it's filthy rapist.
I'm also thinking that there's like a lot of other birds that probably would have survived. They would have been like just fine, right? Like aquatic amphibians, they would have like figured it out.
Is it the albatross can stay for months up in the air currents?
Yeah, but in a torrential rain, it'll knock a lot of the birds out of the sky. So I think Kev's right. Like the amphibians that can stay close to the boat, I think you're probably gonna have the best chance.
Oh, but Hillary's, there was rain, yes, and it may have been torrential, but the real problem was the ground was shooting water up,
Ooh,
smacking the birds from below.
yeah.
I heard Kevin's biblical discussions talk about these. He was talking about how God wasn't a monster, and he's like, yeah, but you don't understand how savage it was. Have you ever seen a geyser? Can you imagine that like a billion times that? Like people were just getting drowned so quickly and just sucked under the mudslides. And I'm like, so the guy's not a monster, but he did all this because why?
It's like a bidet of horror, yeah.
The grand flush.
Don't be smirch bidets. Come on.
What's it? I like a bidet. I just don't like the idea of it blowing my O-ring out.
Right. They don't want to get lifted 500 feet in the air.
It's slightly off subject, but Planet Fitness's hydrotherapy beds will make you feel like it's going to blow water up your butthole. It's really weird. I got nervous. I was like, I think it's going to blow water up my butthole. I feel like it's going to do that, even though I wasn't getting wet or anything. Like, I mean, I was, but only with the idea that it was going to blow water up my butthole. I got a little moist. But wait, what was I talking about?
About the geysers during the flood.
Oh yeah, that explains it. All right, sorry.
That makes
Ooh,
sense.
it's got hot in here. So, Yahweh, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And he's bidet of genocide.
I like to ask them about. Let me be JG for a second. I find it interesting to bring up the idea of circumcision and its origins amongst the Hebrews. I think Christians avoid it because they don't find it as interesting as I do. That's my JG. And then I sneer in derision with whatever you say.
I think they just really like touching each other's junk, and that was a way that they had a good tactile sensation of like who belongs and who doesn't. They couldn't just ask or look for a tattoo. They actually wanted to feel the junk.
Well, let's think about the Bible in the context. Yeah, go ahead.
My first thought was just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make sure that your junk is clean for all the sex you're not gonna be having, because yeah.
Well, but see, you're right over the target there, because the Hebrews were supposed to be fairly monogamous, I guess. I mean, they had their concubines and their prostitutes, but the women were supposed to be monogamous. But here's the thing: who the fuck is looking at your dick? Either women, because you're gonna unsheath it for lovemaking, and it's for the ladies for some reason, some sign to them. Or God is cock watching and he's just like, I can't stand my people. Like, I got like X-ray vision and there's all these dudes with dick skin. And I know I put it there, but it just looks bad. It's a bad look. It's not aerodynamic.
Sorry, not to go away from the dick skin cutting the stuff. No, Old English is also interesting. I mean, it can be. I think the Bible is just really redundant sometimes the way it's written. I guess is what I was saying, and especially like when you have like that King James style or whatever. I just feel like sometimes it's like, oh my goodness, like what are they doing? And I catch people in church doing it too, because I want to like be very like if I'm gonna use that language, I want to know, and they're like mixing up their thee, thou, and thine and all that shit. It's like you gotta know what you're doing here. but but it's okay. I'm not like a scholar of languages or anything. But language is kind of my thing. I'm more of a word person, not big on the maths. So as I think I brought up in the stream, or the other one, I'm not sure what I was talking about it.
There's cheese issues.
Like buyer's remorse. Why did I make them look like a
Anteater.
Martian? Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, who the fuck? There's only a few people that are going to see this. I guess you had the guys in camp that are like, "Can I see your cock?" Or, I mean, like, what's yours cut like? Did you cut yours yourself, or did you have, Jethro do it?
I think I read it somewhere, but I don't remember exactly where. That like if you wanted to approach the tent, or like I don't know if this was during the 40 years in the wilderness or when, but people that wanted to approach like the tabernacle, like they would reach under the skirt of the guy before he came in and make sure that he didn't have any foreskin, like with their hand.
Oh,
They didn't even
and
have
to
to do
make
it.
sure
They
he was a
grabbed the finger.
man. And
So, interesting side note, maybe a little too personal here, but I myself, I was cut at birth, when I was a baby, and the doctor, anyway, there's like horror stories, but basically he was like a real prick, and he made things really difficult for my mom, and he was a Christian in the South, and my mom was a young unwed mother, and so he gave her the sermon while he was doing delivery, which was not, and the delivery itself was difficult. And so, anyway, long story short, I got the cut, but anyway, I was always self conscious because I have like a pretty, like visible scar from the cut. Um, it's not like gross or anything, but it's just a scar. And so yeah, and then I remember the first time I was in like grade school, and I had a friend of mine who was Jewish, and somehow it came up, and he was like, "Oh, mine's not cut," and like we did the whole like, "All right, show me yours," I'll show you mine, you show me yours thing. And that was the first time I saw it, and it was exactly as Will described. It was like it's like a fucking anteater, like like what? And then I was like kind of glad I was cut. But anyway, I don't know. That may be too much information, but I gave it to you, so there it
a
is.
woman in disguise too.
Like
Right.
what a welcome in, like hey, welcome to our town. Let me give you a handy, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was a hygiene thing because he was about to enter into the holiest of holies. Okay.
But,
So there were other cultures that did circumcision, but they did it for like tantric sex and harnessing chi and shit like that. Were the Jews in on this?
the Australian Abos did it, but I think like just a rite of passage.
Oh, I think they did it to like catch fish, man. They like cut it
Well,
off and they dangle their dicks in the stream and they're like, come on, come
And
on.
actually, living in the bush is probably going to give you a dirty dick. So I can see like.
I will say from the male perspective, like I feel like that's something that men would do. Like just like anecdotally, like myself, like I definitely did more, like self harm in the genital region when I was younger, like versus as I got older,
Cool, but what was your reasoning?
It was really just experimentation. There was no good reason behind it. That's what I'm saying. Like they just,
Okay.
I
All
could
right,
do
Kevin.
it, so I did do it.
Okay,
that type of thing.
Kevin. Okay, Kevin. Let's take that for a second. Imagine you can convince yourself of that. That's great. Now, how do you turn to the rest of us and be like, guys, I started doing this thing where I cut my dick skin off, and I think you guys should do it too. And then how many of us you think would be like, what are the advantages? And you'd be like, I don't know. I'm just like, I'm into it.
You have to paint it as being like the most masculine thing ever. You're like, hey, if you can't cut your dick skin, you're less of a man than me. And, like challenge accepted,
Oh yeah, I'll bite my own dick skin off.
Yeah.
So you... What is wrong with these people?
That's where the Jews got that idea.
But it wasn't
with
just
the-
voluntary, because like they were like, "Hey, all you slaves, you line up. I'm getting out the Sharp Rock today. We're gonna have a little snip."
What is that whole fucking story, right? Where like they get all the guys in this town, so they can marry amongst each other to cut their.
Oh yeah, that's a nasty one, Skyworks. I've had a couple of instances with those. Yeah, like there's something about Mary, right? Did you get the beans and the frank? No, I've never done it quite that bad, but yeah.
dick skins off, and then when they have a fever, all the Jacob's sons run in and kill everybody because they got fevers and shit. Like after you hear about that, you're like, I see what you Jews are doing. I'm not cutting my dick skin off. You're gonna come in and stab me. You guys are naughty.
I was thinking more about when Abram told like his male slaves, "Hey, all my household's going to do this. So since I own all of you, like, there's no consent involved. You're going to get cut."
Line up, boys.
What was with that king that had a thing for dick skins? He was like, "Get me 100 dick skins." And
Saul.
brought him 200.
Yeah, well, now that's the weirder part. Is that like Saul came up with the idea, and David's like, "I'm an overachiever. Let's grab up some more dick skins, boys."
I read somewhere that foreskins were actually used as currency in the Middle East at certain points.
No,
in
the whole
history.
dick was. The
That's-
Romans would use it during the campaigns. Yeah.
I was like, that's crazy. Dude. I don't
Look,
know.
I collected all these cocks from the Gaul regions.
Yeah.
You've heard of ear necklaces, right? Like from Vietnam,
Yeah.
when they like cut the ear off a person and then like.
Well, yeah,
see where you're going.
Trophies
You
of
should stop.
war.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
what
a
I'm
little
thinking.
different though, right?
Want
Yeah,
the
string
whole
of dicks.
foreskin necklace.
A string of okay, foreskins is when they're like,
It's funny because I was actually about to pause the video and bring that up, and I'm like, okay, no, I said it here in the conversation. That's good because it was exactly where my mind went. I was like, for some reason, I just can't get this idea out of my head that you cut the skin off your dick and then you could go and trade it for, I don't know, food or something. Like that's crazy. Like, can I just cut any random part off of my body and go sell it? Like, the black market for organs was really bad back then. A willing living donor. But no, what are you gonna do with a dried foreskin? Just pass them around.
if you got like a
Stability.
full dick strung around your neck, that's giving a different vibe. That guy's not coming into the public restroom with you, even if he does have a dress on.
Low blow, low blow.
No, low blow is-
That's it.
Did you see the Portuguese lady in Brazil? The Brazilian lady that was taught, she put on the black paint, the black face to talk about trans issues, and
No.
now they're threatening to arrest her for being racist.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, it's wild. I just watched it a little while ago. You got to check that shit out. It's I mean, especially if she goes to jail, it just makes you really glad that we have the right to
You're
say
not
things
attributing
and be offensive
credit to
without
the one who.
going to jail for it.
But no,
Yeah, hopefully. I don't know.
I love what you're saying. Actually, I don't even just like it. I love what you're saying, and it's I don't like to.
It's only because in Isaiah 50, Isaiah says this incredible thing. He says, "Lord, thank you for waking me up day by day and morning by morning, and giving me the words of the learned." In other words, he says he's an unlearned person, and God gives him these words. And same thing Daniel says, this isn't for my sake, for my wisdom. It's for their sake and your sake. And I think.
Yeah, sounds like a Christian circle jerk
But
now.
we're on a thin margin there. Yeah. You say whatever you want, just don't exercise your First Amendment rights here.
Oh, hey, Hillary's
Yeah,
emails.
that's
Good to see you. Good to see you watching the convo from the other day there. Good to see you. Yeah, thanks. I'm doing okay tonight. I'm all right. I was thinking about going over to Lupin's Live, but I don't know if there's anything interesting going on over there. And also, I don't know if I have the bandwidth with my streaming capabilities here. But yeah, the link is pinned for anybody who wants to come in. Todd was here earlier, but he was the only one who joined. But yeah, we're finishing up that. I finished up that conversation I had with JG, and then I came back to check out the banter over here before I joined and everything. And I know I'm gonna just like disappear AFK or something before the stream ends, as far as I recollect. So
To agree with us.
I'm discovering that, and I don't know if it's related to deconstruction, but I don't like Israel, and I don't like the Jewish religion either. Like I just don't. It's like there's a hostility growing that and I'm like, I really.
what's weird to me is that like I think it's like a really high number of Jewish people who claim to be Jewish or whatever, but they're like what do you call it? Like culturally Jewish or whatever. So they don't actually necessarily believe in the God claim or do any of the church stuff, or even if they do sometimes, like they go to church, but they're still basically atheists. And that's like pretty big in Judaism, and openly so as far as I can tell. But that might just be something that's a narrative that's pushed by a lot of Christians. I don't know, but that's kind of the message that I've gotten over the years. I've never looked deeply into Judaism because I feel like you're just doing like Christianity light, but the Orthodox Jews do follow some of those like really strict like laws, right? Where they have to like invent contraptions so they're not flipping light switches on Sunday or some shit, like, right? So
They don't trust these guys, especially because of Bibi.
Oh,
Bibi
yeah.
Netanyahu, like I'm like, look, this guy's been up there and like running shit since I was a kid. Right? I can't even think who was before him. I can't even remember.
Yeah.
It
Oh, it's
wasn't
been a
Golda
while.
Meir.
Honestly, yeah.
It was
oh yeah, or Jewish heritage. I guess that's another way to put it. Like yeah, ethnically Jewish, yeah. Or in the club, right?
That was before
wasn't-
my time, I think.
yeah, no, that was in the 60s. I'm thinking with Golda Meir. I don't know who was in there before him, but like I remember being very young when he came in. He's been like switching around positions in that government forever, and they always fucking do some shady shit. And then like okay, it's been long enough to say that I think that October 7th thing, the whole Hamas raid, that those were paid mercenaries that gave justification to go into Gaza. Like that's what I think the BB said.
It's crazy to think that now, like, because when I first heard about it, like, it was I was pretty horrified, like, by the stories they were telling. But like now, when you think about how prolonged this whole engagement is, and like what's going on, it's like no, it does feel like maybe they did like hire them to kill their own, just to create this fake panic and create a reason for war. But like we've theorized that about like 9/11, not that they made it happen, but they let it happen or whatever might be a plausible conspiracy theory. So I don't know. I don't know what to believe anymore, honestly, on that front.
That up just so they could do this thing as quick as possible before the rest of the international community could say, "Hey, overkill."
Oh,
Yeah, so it looks like they did have a guy, Lapid,
Nice.
who was in 2020 to 2022. So actually, he's been the most recent one before Netanyahu. Netanyahu's actually pretty recent.
No, he's been back and forth. If you look at it, like I said, he's circulating in their government, always
Right.
stirring up shit.
Yeah, I missed what Will had been saying there, and I do remember coming up like a long time ago. But yeah, I missed that Will was pointing out that he does like similar to what Putin did, right? Like where he places somebody else and says, "Oh no, I'm just like the second guy now or whatever." Like he put that guy in there and said, "Oh no, look, I kind of lost an election, but I'm still like the main." But he's still running shit, right? It's like it's a prop.
Kind of like always running the show one way or
Yeah,
another.
it
Kind
says
of like
he held
Putin
office
does.
from 96 to 99 and then 2009 to 2021.
Mm-hmm. Does it sound a little like Putin moving around from one position to another?
Just, yeah, kind of the same type of deal, yeah.
I hope at some point we double cross Israel.
I hope at some point we just
Well, at this point, I'm just having the same conversation we had, but yeah, no, I'm not sure whether, when, and well, yeah, obviously I'm there until the end, but I'm not sure when I dropped out. Okay, but yeah, we can. This was fun though. It's always fun. We'll go check out since we're here. We'll just go look at a little bit of the highlight reel from last night. um, because we were having some good fun last night here.
Every once in a while, I catch something that I'm like, I know enough math to hear something and go, what? And then they'll explain it to me, and that's like the Attic 10 thing I was just talking about. It's like,
And this is coming from the Economist, by the way. Hey,
Yeah.
we deal with real numbers, by the way, not this fucking abstract shit.
like what? I mean,
We deal with
We'll use
we deal with
physics.
numbers as they relate to monies.
yeah, we'll actually use some physics and stuff. We'll use statistics, the calculus a little bit here and there, but it's like there's a reason why there's calculus for non-math majors in universities. Right.
Well, but a part of that is like correct response, right? Like it doesn't matter if the answer's correct. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I'm just looking for a response from the participant, and I count that as a number. It doesn't matter if the thing that they asserted was correct or incorrect, but if they responded to the problem, then they answered correctly. If that makes I feel like I'm totally derailing the conversation at this point. So I brought up behavior analysis, and I was trying to relate it to something they were talking about earlier, but then this is where I had said like this was last night. I'd said something like, "Yeah, I don't do math. I'm more like into words or whatever." And so then they started going on some fucking math nerd shit, and and I was like, "No, no, wait, hold on. I want to talk about behavior analysis because I'm looking for an instance of behavior. Doesn't matter if I'm looking for a response to a question, say, and I know that my participant knows the answer to that question, right? So I'm asking arbitrarily. Doesn't matter if they give the right answer or not. That's not actually the goal. The goal is to get them to respond to the prompt, right? So anyway, I don't know if that one really like landed, but I was trying. I was giving it my
Yeah, I mean, if you're doing a behavior thing, I see how that works. It's not so much. It doesn't matter that much what their answer actually is.
I'm only gonna stay. I'm wondering if I should take Jill up on his offer and go over to his channel and be like, all right, lay it out. I've been asking for a while now.
Debate me, bro. Do it. Do it live.
Okay, if you do that, post a link in the side chat.
I should show you guys. I should show you all the loving emails that he sends me.
Oh god.
Oh boy.
Shit, my email's public. Jill never emails me. I feel left out.
Wait, Jill, are you still here?
He spams me with so much shit.
Have you got?
We were kicking him around a little bit earlier, and then he muted, and maybe he's coming back. Yeah.
Have you gotten back to a certain person about a certain debate?
Oh gosh, Wildheart.
Yes, I didn't want to say the name, but
I admire his heart, but he's really not on Smokey's level. He's really not on any Christian's level. None of you are. None of you are, to be honest.
Wildheart versus Smokey.
But
epic. It will be an epic debate.
Wildheart, come on. Why does he even want to debate Smokey?
I mean, I think you guys are a pretty equal match. You're both really loud. Talk about nothing.
No, Smokey is
Very
debating.
similar
Jesus.
Smokey's debating Wildheart. You're not following.
What would be the
Okay.
As usual.
Oh, Wildheart?
You could make a drinking contest out of it as well.
Yeah, I apologize.
Well-
I was having math PTSD for a moment.
Hey, Midnight. What exactly were they? What exactly was Wildheart considering debating him?
I don't know whether God exists or not. Some bullshit. You know how Wild Heart gets.
Oh boy. Yeah. Just say no more.
That's not
fair enough. All right, let's go over here. I'm gonna stay on a few more minutes. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna run this train into the ground, man. No, but only a few more minutes because eventually I'm gonna have to deal with real life, whatever that means. I'm not even sure at this point, honestly. Okay, so we take this one out of here, and then oh yeah, there was this thing I wanted to look at because I heard that there was a conversation that took place over here. I missed it, and it was on Tog's stream here. I think this must be the one. And we'll answer any questions from the previous stream, as a matter of fact.
In my head, how I feel.
Oblivion Satan
So
or Christ.
Here.
You only that from the Christian perspective.
I am acquainted with the troll tool of mirroring.
There's Wildheart.
Or I guess.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't.
Sorry, Tommy. Sorry to interrupt you. Can I just give you a salute?
No.
You sent Tommy a rock.
Yeah. Well, I don't appreciate you fear mongering me. Wildheart, just.
That's the story.
Well, it's not. Well, hold on.
Oh no,
Wildheart is the one that came.
Smokey. Okay, hold on. All right, no. So we were about there.
Wait a minute. That's not how it's supposed to go. You're supposed to stay in.
Can I just give a fist bump to both of them and say,
No.
That's him.
No. If you have to ask something, you can't do it. Just do it.
But I am happy to hear that. I was very happy for both you and Mrs. Saint. And since we last interacted, I don't think
I was not. I have to say, I was very disappointed by that. I thought Lo was pretty chill chick, and looks good. So I was like, oh, that guy. But that's the way the male mind works. It's like, yeah, no.
anybody cares. I don't think you care, but shit, nobody cares. That's probably best. But my hot hen ran off. She run off. She run off.
Wow.
Yeah, she run
Wasn't
off.
chasing other cocks, was she?
What did you do, St. Tommy? What did you do to chase her away?
Oh, just be me. Can you imagine having to live with me and fuck me and cook for me and look out after my kids? And goddamn, I don't blame her. I do not blame her, man. I can't. She pulled 20 some odd years like a true.
Oh,
well.
Well, at least you always have us.
Exactly. Y'all are difficult enough to resist falling in
Good
love.
gift of anger.
Look at that. Good God, I've been sucking lemons. Look at that.
What the fuck?
Damn, Halsey.
Like
you
St. Tommy, I'm looking forward.
I think it was just you on the screen with the title of a stream you were doing, and the look on your face was just so perfect for the title. And I just grabbed it.
Yeah, I can't
You're
imagine.
good to not be able to.
So where's this whole thing with Smokey? I heard there was a.
I tell myself, but I still try and retain some.
I just heard him talking to Weller like right around.
And
this
can
point.
just say, Smokey, your wife is a very wonderful person, and I think she has a soft spot for me. If you know what I mean.
Yes.
She wants you, brother. She wants you.
I agree. I think she definitely has a bleeding heart for Wild Heart. There's no doubt about that.
Fuck off. No.
Do you think she was wonderful if she didn't have that soft spot, or is that the only reason why?
That's a good question.
No, she will be wonderful.
All right, where's the debate challenge?
For Ray Todd.
That is also definitely true.
Oh no. All right, come on. Let's get to it.
Well, on Wild Heart, how many people have you told now about the dude abusing Olive?
Oh, I had a stream about it the other day.
Oh, okay. All right. Good. All right.
Yeah. I don't know how many people watched it, but yeah, I had a stream about it. I put
Well, that's
all
good. Well, at least you did. That's good.
Yeah.
Wildheart, can you describe your upcoming possible debate with Smokey and why the circumstances are as they are, as far as where it will be held, etc.?
Yes.
Yeah, why can't you guys do it here? That's a good point. Like you two are here right
do it
now.
now. There you go.
Fight. I got the time for a little bit.
You want to debate Wildheart and that you insisted it should be on Jill's channel. That's the story.
Well, it's not. Well, hold on. Wild Heart is the one that came in and requested the debate, and the topic wasn't even really something that was, in my current, worldview system right now to debate. But I propose that he, the one person I knew in the community that has, interacted with Wild Heart the most theologically has been Jill. I've watched Jill sit there for 3 hours at a time and talk Wild Heart through theology and God and proof of God and stuff. So I figured he would be a good person to kind of roundabout be a mod for that particular exchange. What is it, Wild Heart? Something about is it reasonable to believe God exists or something like that? And is that
is it
something fair? Okay.
Is it reasonable to believe the Christian God exists? I think.
Well, okay. All right, well, that's fine. I'll do. Yeah, okay, that's fine. I'll do that topic if you want. That's fine.
Yeah. The trouble is, Jill won't get back to me. I've sent him 2 emails.
Well, he's also very busy. We could do it here. Or if you want to set up something with Tom, I don't care. That's fine.
Okay. Oh, that's good. Yeah. We can do
It's
it now.
settled then.
I don't remember you modding any exchange ever. But I think you kind of.
I remember one of the only moderations I did that, it was last minute, and I
Oh, I
first time
remember, and I
using,
hated you
hands
for it,
of
and I said you were
cancer.
absolute trash at it. Yeah, no, I do remember that now. Okay, yeah.
Well,
Didn't I
I
have a
mean-
whole stream talking about what trash mod you were?
No, Smokey. What I remember this clearly. You had a whole series of saying how Todd was dead. I remember
That is also true. That is also
You had a
true.
whole
There was like a
series.
10,
Tog is dead.
10 episode arc where Tog was dead. That is true.
Oh, P. Mars is here. Holy shit.
I still have those, actually.
I was reading a
Oh,
book
you
on
showed it.
eschatology last night, and it said you're all going to hell.
Good, cool. I love it.
Thank you,
Good
man.
company,
That's
man.
it.
I love going to
You
hell.
think you're going to come in here trolling about hell without me bitching about it, P. Mars?
Go get him, Tommy. Get him.
You're goddamn right.
I like
saw him over there, kissy
Real quick
kissy.
before
This is
before
good.
and
This
I
is
like
very
the,
good. I would say, like, of all of the trolls of the internet, and people that I outwardly call a troll, I'd say Smokey is probably definitely one of them. I know he was over here a while ago, and he's taken over the Cone Club Cult channel, which I have not gone on since Smokey's been in charge. I was on there with Cat and Will like a long time ago, I think, and I haven't heard from either of them in a bit. But neither here nor there, I suppose. But yeah, I'm just like, whoa, yeah. Sometimes I go over there and I just listen, and it's fucking insanity, man. It really is. Like, I don't know, man. There's some of these people out here on the internet professing to be Christians, and I'm just like, whoa, is this really the way you want to portray yourself? But yeah, I mean, we know you got the pre-suppers, you got the late nighters over here, and somewhere in between, in betwixt, we exist, I suppose. Skywork says I might jump in the chat. Wait, which one? No, do it here. Do it here. No, this one is not live. I had this one saved though, because I'd started watching it early on, but I didn't get to this point. So yeah.
the difference in beds, how St. Tommy is nice and made while P. Mars is messy.
P Mars too is P Mars is I've personally witnessed him doing like uh, racist, putting slurs in the chat and shit like that. Just outwardly like horrible behavior that I think he's funny sometimes, but obviously those aren't amongst them. But he's funny in the other way.
St. Tommy, sorry, I just wanted to point out the observations I make.
Wildheart, someone else you could also ask that does the debates regularly, that did the last one with me and Freeman. You could also ask MathPig.
Oh, yeah.
I'll
do it.
There you go.
I mean, maybe, but MathPig is usually busy.
And MathPig is a very good mod. He really is.
Yeah, we can do that. Yeah.
You could do dual mod. I've seen that before. We have a Christian and an atheist moderator, and work it that way. I mean, why not? Yeah.
Oh,
Made
I
a
just
foursome.
debated on modern day Discord, some Discord mod, and the fucking mod is basically like 2-on-1. Like the mod was his best friend.
Oh,
it was so
wow.
sleaze.
The numbers game. It always resorts to like that. If it's not a formal debate, it always goes to numbers game.
Yeah.
All right, so that's the
Modern day-
debate.
It's like modern day daycare, you know.
Is it
we
reasonable
could
to
do it
believe
now
in
because
God?
it's so easy. The
Why is this
Christian
thing
God is not.
fucking me off? Thank you for catching up to what's going on here, internet. So I was saying though, yeah, that's apparently the debate is it reasonable to believe in God? Do we find God? Which God? See, I think these distinctions are important, because you could end up in that position where you're like, well, I'm not defending the position that no gods exist, but I'm just saying that the one you're describing to me sounds like bullshit, which is fine because you can do that, right? But it's not gonna convince anybody, like logically, if you're talking about like actually changing the mind of anybody listening to the interaction, because I don't think you're ultimately in a debate ever trying to change the mind of your interlocutor, that would be, a pretty grandiose expectation, right? So anyway, all right. Do. Of course, everybody wants your attention once you're bound and gagged. All right, we're gonna finish this video and then call it a night, I suppose. What is happening to America? Good old DeRoy over here. I actually made us a short. It's only 14 minutes long, and it's hilarious, I'm sure. Everything this guy does is fucking hilarious.
The Spaniards colonized the Philippines, and after so many years or a decade or whatever, they left. Okay? And you know what? They still celebrate the Spanish in the Philippines because they have respect for the Spanish, the colonizers. But we play this game to where, the whites, they came over here and they took it off the Native Americans and they brought the slaves over here. So did every other nation.
Well, first of all, the whites aren't a nation, and amongst the nations who colonized the Americas, yes, the Spaniards were among them, and I think they were like generally considered to be like the race wasn't the issue with the Spaniards, even though some of them were dark, right? Because like Columbus was an Italian dude, but he actually drove the ships for the Spanish. So that whole thing with those guys. When Columbus came over, they were Spanish ships, right? But he was an Italian dude, and so they didn't really care all that much about race at that point. And yeah.
And we have 50 states. We have the most powerful, richest, most beautiful nation on earth. This is not a nation of immigrants. It's a nation of white people and black people.
What?
The other numbers are supposed to be smaller. In all...
Wait, what? He's like, we're supposed to have white people and black people, and the other numbers are supposed to be smaller? What's he? Okay.
Fairness. In all fairness, those other numbers are supposed to be smaller. You ain't supposed to have just as many Indians in here.
It's only fair if you only have white people and black people. Never mind Native Americans. He's talking about Indians from India or people from the Middle East generally. He's just calling them all Indians because that's the way DeRoy's brain works, right?
Black folks. Why? Because of slavery. We never had to get a green card. We never had to become American.
Because of slavery, obviously black people are entitled to be here. But, not these other fucking immigrants. Fuck those guys, yeah.
Black people think we've never been privileged. We are privileged. But you can't, now they want to just privilege everybody. And I think that's a racist statement to say that, we did it for the blacks, we can do it for the other. Well, we're not immigrants. We've been here.
This is fucking terrible. Well, yeah, if we give civil rights to black people, we gotta give them to everybody, right? It's like, no, not those fucking immigrants. I don't want them here.
I've been here forever.
Not if they're like, I don't know, brown or Asian or something. I mean, they have to have, done time, for sure.
My mama been here forever. I don't speak any other language but English. And I don't know any other culture but American culture. There is no culture shock with me up in here.
You could study things like on this internet that you use to stream. You could actually learn about cultures. These are ridiculous, aren't they all? Though you guys, they're caricatures. These are not real people, right? No, they can't be. There's no way.
Now, a lot of these other people, like this chick here, sitting there, if that's a chick, I don't know if this guy or girl, sitting there talking about, maybe he went up and startled him and he shot him. Maybe she went up and startled the guy. You can't be running around. I almost cussed. Woman, this is not Mexico. This is not wherever you come from. This is America. We don't just get startled and shoot people around here. Maybe they do that in your country. Now, I know a lot of these places where Americans...
We don't get startled and shoot people around here. I've seen white motherfucking bred Americans actually on video. What do they chase that kid down the fucking street after he came into an unfinished house or something, supposedly, or was running around there, right? Chase that motherfucker down in a truck because they were startled, and then go and shoot the fucking guy, right? That shit. What are you talking about, bro?
Let's go. Americans are not allowed to own a gun. They're not even allowed to drive.
What?
It's another reason why I don't go to too many places. But I understand. Because I feel the same way about your people when they come over here in my country.
What do you say?
Americans are not allowed to own a gun. They're not even allowed to drive.
Americans are not allowed to own a gun or drive in Mexico? That is simply false, sir. You know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, what is this nonsense?
It's another reason why I don't go to too many places. But I understand. Because I feel the same way about your people when they come over here in my country. Why should y'all be driving? Do you realize how many Asian, African accidents we have out here? This African dude walked out.
Asian African accidents? This is great. I did no, so I anecdotally though, I was in court a long time ago. I was in court. I don't even remember what I was there for. It might not have been a hearing pertaining to me. I might have been there like with somebody else. But for whatever reason, I was in fucking court. But they were taking some traffic cases at the same time as whatever else they were doing. Civil matters, I guess. I don't fucking know. No, maybe it was a traffic court. I was in a traffic court, but not for me. It was for my ex. It's all coming back to me now. This was years ago, but I remember sitting back and hearing this case, and there was this dude. I think he was German or Dutch, something like that. And yeah, his whole thing. He was up there, well dressed and all that. You could tell he had some money. And they said he was going like over 120 miles an hour on the freeway. What was his case? And he was like, I'm sorry, I'm used to driving on Autobahn. It's just normal. And they're like, well, sorry about that, but that's gonna be like a huge fucking fine, and we're gonna suspend your license and shit. And I don't know why that just reminded me of that. It's like, oh yeah, no. But it was a white person. It was not like a Mexican or anything like that. So just so you know, I mean,
To get in his car just yesterday. And whoever parked next to him, it turns out it was another African dude.
hey, my awesome life. Love you. Good to see you. I'll call you back
His car,
shortly here. We're just finishing up this video.
on his car was touching his. He comes outside, he's like, what the heck is this? He couldn't even get in his car. Somebody not only parked too close to him, they parked lopsided, which means he couldn't even get in his car. He almost had to have the tow company come and tow his car out of the spot so he could get in it. When I was working for Uber, a Mexican dude hit me at a traffic light. He hit me at a red light.
Okay. Shit happens, man. Did he have insurance? That's what I want to know. Because if he had fucking insurance, then why are you even bothered? Just because he was Mexican?
How many times have I been on the bus and an immigrant ran into the bus? And they totaled their car, running it into the Port Authority bus, and then laughed about it. Chinese people. And they weren't just Chinese people that work at our local Chinese restaurants. They were people that were only here for a minute, and already they driving. They only been here for days. The cops was trying to deport them. They immediately started asking immigration questions when they showed up, like, how'd you just go through a stop sign and hit the bus? They thought the bus was supposed to stop and wait for them when the bus got to right away. Buses.
How many fucking like bred, born American citizens just do stupid shit in their vehicles all the time? Why he's just going on about immigrants driving shitty, but does he look at the statistics? Because I'm sure it's going to be like a significantly higher number of just American people who are like drunk driving and doing like really stupid shit most of the time. You can like bring up a few instances where you think, oh well, this Asian person was only here for a couple of days and they couldn't read the signs or something like that. No, dude, look at the American people, because I can look at a lot of people. There's a lot of bad drivers out there, and this is one of the reasons I think, for me, like I feel like there should be more restrictions driving in general, not for immigrants, but in general for all people, including those who are born here, right? Like, and they should be like, more like stringent on driving tests, and I think that the cops should be enforcing certain things that they don't really enforce very much. Like, they tend to enforce high speed incidents, right? Like anytime somebody's going over the speed limit, you know, in great excess or whatever, which is fine and good. But when they're not looking so much at like slow drivers, people who are impeding traffic, people who are brake checking, right? These are all signs of impairment, of agitation, where they're causing unnecessary, congestion in the roadway and stuff like that. And you're just like, who is this? And most of the time, it's fucking old white people. Like, to be honest with you, like 99% of the time, I've got some weirdo doing like 40 miles an hour on the freeway who's brake checking me, and I go past them and it's an old white person, like most often. So
Coming in, they're coming up a cross street. It's a one car cross street. The bus is coming up. They got to make a right to get out. Actually, that's a one way. They didn't know you got to make a left and follow the bus, and then go around and go out that way. This here is going, folks. If this is a nation of immigrants, it needs to not be. We need to deport every illegal. That'll stop a lot of this killing. And what is it with everybody and these white folks? Like, they ain't rolling up on white folks. This is how you know it ain't an accident. Didn't nobody startle nobody. It's always white folks. They ain't shooting black folks. This is a war on white people. They're not shooting black folks. Only black folks shoot black folks. They're not shooting black folks. They're shooting white folks. These Arabs and these people from the Spanish nations that are here illegally, they're killing white folks. If they rape a woman, it's going to be a white woman. Sometimes an Asian woman. If they shoot somebody, stab somebody, it's going to be white. And it don't matter whether you're Spanish, black, Arab, or some other brown-skinned nation. It's always going to be white people. Hardly ever is it African against white, Haitian against black, African against black, Somalian against black, Spanish against black, Arab or Indian against black. It's always, the victim is always white. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. They did arrest the kid that killed his white.
Whoa. What's that? I just built a budgeting app in Base 44. Guys, Nina just built an app.
Impossible.
sorry, I'm talking over here and I'm muted. I feel like he just got cut off. He really did just get cut off.
He's doing this for young people so that we are no longer threatened.
I wonder if YouTube canceled him for that. That was pretty bad, though. Did he actually end the video? I wasn't watching in that moment. I was like, it sounded like he just abruptly was in the middle of a sentence and then they just cut his stream. They're like, no, too much racist shit tonight.
It's always, the victim is always white.
That's not true.
Okay.
No.
Now, don't get me wrong. They did arrest the kid that killed his white.
It just stopped. He doesn't even do lives, does he?
What's that? I just built a budgeting app in Base 44.
I don't think he even does lives. Like,
Nina
that's
just
a
built an
pre-recorded
app.
video.
Impossible.
What the fuck? Not again. Oh, come on.
Folks.
Nope. What is happening to America? Yeah, so, I mean, the proliferation of, blatant racist, misogynist bullshit, that, seems to be like a mainstay. We just do it here in America. That's our ways. There ain't no rush. Somebody says, wow. No, it's amazing. As the great Jesse Lee Peterson would say. I've gone a bit over where I planned to go, but thank you all for sticking around. And yeah, we got through some shit tonight. We really did. We've we've handled this like champions, really for sure. And I want to thank everybody who was here. Tog was here earlier. I saw this one guy and actually came on the panel. I appreciate you for that. And Halsey, we had Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Happy Monday! Happy Monday to everybody. Hive Sci Bree was here. Much love. William Freeman and Skyworks, of course. Skyworks 2009. And who else we got back here? I think there was somebody else. Come on. I know My Awesome Life was here. Much love, My Awesome Life. Maybe that was it. Oh, and Hillary's emails. Yes, Hillary's emails was by earlier. I knew I missed one. I got you all now. You got to catch them all. Pokemon. Oh shit. Uh, all right. Well, everybody, much love. Be well and stay trusty. Have an awesome rest of your week. I will see you whenever it is that I see you. I can't make any guarantees, but maybe Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, happy days. Okay, but for now, it is goodbye. Good night and good luck.